Welcome everybody to this week's Rare Tuesday edition of this week's Daryl and Boo's weekly updates. How are you doing, Boo?
Yeah, good. Enjoyed our long weekend.
Yep.
We were up in Cultus Lake, so we brought the trailer up there. That's actually our first trip with the trailer this year, and so it was good to kind of reacquaint myself with operating the trailer. I always forget that there's a bunch of, it's not just hauling it out there, but kind of packing it properly, bringing all the right things with you, dewinterizing it, getting all the antifreeze out of the lines and whatnot. And then, you know, everybody has particular ways that they set up their trailers once they get on site and lay everything out and stuff. So it's good to kind of do a short trip like that and just to kind of feel things out. And Cultus Lake is a great place to do that kind of stuff as well. So the kids enjoyed Cultus Lake there, went to the water slides, classic Cultus Lake activity, and went to the adventure park there as well. So that, I think that's new within the last 10 years or so. I grew up in Chilliwack and it wasn't there when I grew up there, but the kids enjoyed that adventure park, really small kind of, no, I wouldn't say cramped. It's really well designed as far as the layout to jam a lot of different rides into a small amount of space. And so they enjoyed that. And otherwise, we actually got home when my wife was booking that. Didn't realize it was a long weekend. So she booked a Friday, Saturday, which was fine because we got home and had the Monday to get some stuff organized. So worked on the house and got some stuff there. I didn't want to venture up to Whistler because I knew the traffic coming back on a long weekend would probably just wipe out a few hours. And so I stayed away from that and try to head up later this week, perhaps. How was your weekend? You're just getting back from some PTO.
Yeah, we were sort of a kind of a working holiday, really. It was, we were up in Whistler, my wife and I, and so we actually spent the entire week up there. That was the first time we'd ever done kind of more than 4 days, which was beautiful. The weather was amazing. Traffic wise, yeah, when we were going up, it was not too bad. You get into Whistler and then it kind of clogs up. I think it's just so many people going up to Whistler now and going to the island with COVID breaking out in the interior. Obviously, it's made both of those places particularly busy, but coming home wasn't too bad at all. But yeah, it was a nice time. We, what did we do? We were out in our scooters, kind of exploring a bunch of areas that we had not explored in the past. Just kind of general sort of Whistler stuff. Like I said, outdoor all the time, trying to work in the morning and early afternoon, then got out and enjoyed outdoors in Whistler. So it was a great time, very relaxing and fun.
Yeah, very cool. You know, I had an article pulled up last week. I didn't get a chance to bring it up, but nowadays, like that working vacation idea is a pretty popular one, and I think we like folks that were in flexible jobs anyways. We're always kind of doing that, but now people are looking to do that more. And Airbnb actually released a feature where the owner, the renter, could actually do a Wi-Fi test. on their app, Airbnb app, and it would get added to the listing. So you can actually scope out, hey, I want to go vacation in Whistler. I need to find a place that I could work at, and it needs to have good Wi-Fi. And they can advertise that as a feature now.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great feature to have, because that could completely change the whole dynamic of your working vacation. I think people just assume there's going to be Wi-Fi everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, the Wi-Fi was decent at the place we were staying at, not great. But we're going away again next Friday over to Pender Island, and so the first thing that I checked was in advance what the Wi-Fi was, because we're going to need to do some be online on Friday. But it was great. We have friends that just purchased a place up in Whistler, so exciting for them. Got to check that out. It's really nice spot that they're in, nice and quiet. And what else did we do? We did the zip line, the Sasquatch, which is the one that goes across the valley. So
wow,
not quite the full peak to peak, but the same. You're on the same kind of valley trajectory. It's 2 kilometers, and I think you get up well in excess of 100 kilometers an hour.
Wow.
So a neat experience if you haven't done that. We've done a few zip lines in various different places around the world, but this one, just the view alone, not just the speed and the height is an experience, but the view, once you get in the middle of the in the valley and you're kind of just cruising along, it's I would say something well worth doing. So
very cool.
Yeah, lots of fun.
Very cool.
So I think we've got I know we've got a very interesting guest to bring on, our friend Chas.
There he is.
Hey guys.
Hey Chas, how's it going?
Hey.
You guys were talking about all this vacation. I was very intrigued because, you're talking about vacations and PTO, the kind that I would like to, I aspire to, I guess, to a certain extent. My vacation, and I think, Daryl, I was out the same time you were, my vacation entailed doing a little bit of volunteerism. So I was actually doing a girls' camp. I play cook in a girls' camp for about a week of about 250 girls. My daughter went there through her years. They have first year, second year, fourth year, fifth year, sixth year, seventh year girls. And so she's out of the program now, but I've been a camp cook there for about 10 years. So my days go from 4 a.m. in the morning till about 10 a.m. at night doing camp duties and in the kitchen. So it's a little bit different type of vacation than the vacation that you guys are talking about, but I aspire to also do that one day as well. Yeah,
that doesn't sound like it's completely relaxing, but that's definitely
Well, for us, for the community too, right? For those that are heavily engaged in IT, I don't have to worry about the Wi-Fi signal up in the woods there, right? It's at a camp in the woods. There's no signal. So I do get to decompress, and I get to sleep in the hammock at night because that's why I set up there in the woods. And but I get to decompress, technically speaking. So it is, in a sense, it's very physically exhausting. You're working long hours, but your brain's not as tired, right?
Yeah.
So it's a good time to unplug, as it were. So it's a nice vacation from tech. So it's always good.
Yeah. We're doing. I've told Boo and about this before, and some others on the weekly show. But we're doing a week-long canoeing trip. The first week of September, we'll be out for 10 days, but up in the wilderness, and there will be zero internet, zero connectivity, not even phone service. So that one will be, obviously you're out in the wilderness, but truly unplugged. And the number of times we've actually done that, where we've just unplugged on a holiday, I could probably count on 2 fingers. It just almost never happens, because we're both kind of in a similar role, and you just need to be somewhat connected even when you're away, unfortunately. But I'm looking forward to that. Yeah,
it is something I highly kind of recommend. I do it every year. I think this was my 10th year doing it. But it's something that you don't realize, how much you're wound up until you completely unplug.
Yeah, very true. And then it obviously takes you a couple of days too. The few times that we've done it before, I found that the first couple of days you're just thinking about it, and then once you get past that, and then it's your kind of shoulders drop, and you're just that much more relaxed. So
yeah, indeed.
So Chas, for the folks who haven't met him yet, and obviously I don't think anybody has here yet, we're looking forward to when travel begins, having Chas come and visit us here and some of our customers in BC, but is a solution architect on our Volterra team. And we've talked quite a bit about Volterra with various other guests over the last several weeks, but maybe share a little bit of information about your role, because I know it's relatively new for you. You're not new to F5, but new to that role, Chas, and kind of how you've been enjoying the experience so far.
Absolutely. I mean, so just to give you a little background, I came from operations, right? So I did a lot of architecting and operational work before I came to F5, running enterprise scale networks in California for primarily California government accounts in Northern California. But I've been with F5 for almost 7 years now. And so I've been most of that time in supporting customers on the West Coast. And then I kind of transitioned into some roles within F5's over some of our access portfolio solutions. So for those familiar, a lot of access policy manager work. If you've gone to Agility over the recent years, we've done several labs, or I've done several labs there that many people have come into, and we've had a great time. But after the acquisition of Volterra this year, you guys have been talking about, had the opportunity, so stepped over to the Volterra role, and it's one that we were talking a little bit earlier I was talking a little bit earlier with some peers with regards to how we are consuming applications in cloud and how we're consuming. And it doesn't really matter if it's applications in cloud, just applications overall, and what our expectations as consumers are about applications. I mean, most of, you're speaking of vacation. Vacation coming up is I have to go cross country with my son-in-law and my daughter to their first kind of new job, if you will. And so we were all these apps that were in, looking at rental properties and travel things, and you just think about how we've consumed this, and then you look at a platform like Volterra that's a SaaS-driven platform that extends an organization's application delivery network and gives them a real kind of cloud delivery care. It's not just like looking at, if you've talked about it here on the channel before or stream before, it's not just looking at connecting all the multi-cloud sites. If you have Azure and AWS and an on-prem resource and maybe a private cloud resource, colo resource, tying those together in like an SD-WAN plus, but it's also building a delivery fabric within that we'll call it logical cloud, and extending that your applications are to make it more deliverable. And I just think that as we view applications, we go back to some of the Agility talk tracks from Francois. If you guys haven't watched it, one of the really good ones is that Agility 2018 talk by Francois Lecaudenu, the CEO of F5, talking about application capital and what that means. That's a powerful thing, and that's kind of what brought me to this role and to Volterra, because I really feel like that's where we are as a community, IT community, really heading. It's that consumption of application and a methodology that makes it much easier in an application delivery network fabric that you can scale and get more visibility into, rather than having to build all those component parts. So that's a little bit about me and just in the new role. It's really exciting. I mean, it's been a little bit of work transitioning, but it's an exciting new venture for me, and happy to, when travel restrictions are done and we can get around, coming out and hanging out with you guys there and meeting all the people on the stream.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're obviously pretty excited about Volterra. I mean, a lot of acquisitions, as everyone knows, over the last several years, and they've all been exciting in their own way. But I think you kind of summed it up quickly or very succinctly there, in that there is just this complexity around delivering applications now, just with environments kind of living all over the place and applications living all over the place. So how do you make that user experience good for your customers and obviously make it secure at the same time? It's a problem, I guess you'd say, for virtually all of our customers in various different degrees. So Volterra goes kind of right at that. So yeah, we're looking. We already had a number of discussions with customers. Been great to hear their feedback. Great to hear the different types of questions that they have, and really nice to hear how kind of excited customers seem to be about it. Also, you never really know when you acquire a company if it's going to be the fit that you hope it will be until you get it out there and let your customers kind of kick the tires a little bit. So yeah, so far it's been great.
Absolutely. I mean, now you think about, Daryl, that's a great commentary. You think about the fact that, a lot of our, customers have been used to solving really complex problems with big IP platforms on-prem, right? They look at, maybe presentation networks, and they're looking at, I don't have to route somebody all the way into maybe, my sub-agency here, right? I can kind of build this kind of presentation layer of my network, apply security here, solve some difficult programmatic problems. And that's been, what they really enjoyed, at least the customers that I've engaged with, right? That's what they've really enjoyed about the overall platform, the ability to solve these, complex problems. And when you look at what's happening in cloud, and some of the customers I've met with you, and some of the customers I met obviously with other teams as well, they start to say, well, I got application teams, sprawling applications over here in Azure. I have them over in AWS. I have them over in GCP. I got them on-prem. And I really don't have a cohesive kind of way of visualizing that. And I'd like to just kind of have this kind of fabric that helps me do what a big IP does, but I want it in the cloud, right? I want to have this kind of delivery framework that allows me to reach back-end pools and resources no matter where they are, and helps me solve these kind of more complex problems in a very simplistic way that allows me to deliver my applications confidently, that allows me to get visibility on my applications, my APIs, the endpoints that they're exposing, right? Mm-hmm. And then provide a consistent security fabric across all that. And that's what kind of Volterra is bringing to the table, and that's why that's why F5 moved into the space, right? Or acquired Volterra, so that vision of F5's multi-cloud application vision, right? Being, here's the presentation layer. I don't care if part of the application is served out of Azure because of some of the mechanics, maybe some of the auth mechanics that are in Azure, or some of the AI mechanics and ML mechanics that are in GCP or there, or some of the app mechanics that are natively in AWS. I can have pieces of that application be served out of all those cloud environments, and my backend data source could be on-prem, and Volterra can deliver that and target all those different resources and give you kind of a holistic presentation in view of that application, regardless of where its component parts are. And I think to me, that's really exciting. I mean, for the industry and for where we're at in delivering applications.
Yeah, and it is very unique. There are companies, obviously, that do pieces of that, and they do those pieces very well, but I certainly don't know of any vendor out there that's actually doing exactly what Volterra is doing. And the fact that Volterra is, it's still relatively early in its life cycle with F5. It's been around for a while before that, but there is very big plans to evolve the functionality of Volterra too. So it's pretty awesome what it can do right now, but I think even a year from now, what customers will be able to take advantage of with Volterra is pretty exciting.
Absolutely. It's a pretty fast development cycle too, right? So you're moving agilely in a SaaS service. So your cadence with releases and your cadence with problem resolution is a lot different, right? I mean, some of the cloud savvy folks out there already know that, right? That you can iterate much faster when you're on a platform like that than you can with, shipping out code and doing different pieces. So very exciting stuff.
Very cool. So, Boo, I know you probably got a few of the most important news items of the week to share, and
a couple of things, yeah. All right, so Amazon wants our palm print biometrics. Can you guys guess how much Amazon is going to give us in exchange for taking our palm prints?
$1.
Well, does it include all 5 digits here?
That's a good point.
If we do,
I don't know. I think it's just the palm. Yeah. So take that into account.
I don't know. I don't know what's your palm worth, Boo.
I would have thought a lot, but now that I look at it, it doesn't look that interesting to me. Now I'll show here. Amazon will pay you $10 in credit for your palm print, and they're going to use this to help you check out free at their stores as well. So I guess a small incentive on their side that they'll speedily be able to check you out and take your money, and in exchange you'll get an upfront $10 in credit for that.
They are such giving people. It just warms your heart to think about how giving Amazon is.
Yeah, it's interesting.
There's no fine
privacy
print in that article, Boo. I mean, I would think that there was be a little bit of fine print in that article down there.
That's there's probably links that you can go pretty deep on with the privacy concerns around this. Although at the same time, you got to think Apple already has our fingerprints from when Touch ID was a bigger thing, and now Face ID, they have imprints of our face. Or if you have an Apple Watch, they have imprints of your face now. If with the latest one, you have imprints of your face as well. So they may as well, they own my entire body at this point, I think.
You've been digitized, Boo.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, let's see here. I don't know if you guys are keeping up with the whole concept of metaverse, or if you believe we live in a simulation or getting close to that. But Facebook turning into $1 trillion Facebook into a metaverse company is what Zuckerberg is telling investors. So we will soon be in the matrix. And I think already having our palm prints, our faces, our fingerprints, we're well on our way to being able to build our virtual character inside of the metaverse.
Well, we already have the digital emojis, right? That you can kind of stylize your digital emoji now. So I mean, we're getting closer, right, Boo?
Yeah, that was one of the live streams that I had a few weeks ago on Booze Hour Community Edition with my friend Ty, and he works for a company called Taffy that specifically works on those virtual avatars. And he went through a lot of the reasoning behind, when I look at it, or maybe when you guys look at it, I'm like, okay, there's a person, a character, and he's got a shirt, and maybe I want to change the color of that person's shirt. But my kids, they want money for Fortnite. They want Fortnite currency so that they can buy the latest, I don't know, pants or jacket or whatever inside of there. And starting to realize that it's important to them to have individuality inside of the game. Like they're interacting with their friends inside of there, and they want to have whatever the latest thing is that they want to wear. And so their company is building those things so that people can have that individuality inside the games.
Yeah, it's absolutely
there's a lot of retail market too, Boo, that and I follow this very closely, but they're having digital avatars. Speaking of scanning, not just your palm but other pieces, but having digital avatars so that you can do clothes try-ons, right? So you can actually see what you would look like in a particular outfit. That's one of the things that I think is on the upswing in the retail market, to kind of move things digitally, since people can't go into stores and try things on anymore.
Yeah. That kind of brings us to the NFT space as well. And so I grabbed this article when I thought of it, is that Coca-Cola did an auction for an NFT collectible. So this is a digital aspect using NFTs. So we're bringing in all of the buzzwords right now. And they auctioned off this friendship box. And I don't know if it doesn't say the result of it on here, but I saw the other article with the result of it. So the friendship box, inside of it has a jacket, a sound visualizer, and a friendship card. They auctioned it off. It's an NFT, so it's kind of like a one of a kind digital asset. And they got $575 million, I believe. No, $575,000. Sorry, for this digital asset.
Yeah,
that's the way it is.
Amazing. What's the end game with all of this? It just seems like it's obviously still in its infancy, and the numbers are so astronomical already. It's hard to put your head around it.
Yeah. And to go, so the next step beyond that, Facebook's next product will be Ray-Ban smart glasses. And Facebook already bought, what was that VR headset? Oculus?
Yeah.
Those VR headsets. Yeah, so I don't know what is going to get incorporated into this as far as VR and augmented reality, but maybe we're going to have like a future where it's a blurred line between, are you in this metaverse where you have all these digital assets and clothes and whatnot, or you're in the real world, or you have these glasses on and you can see that person's, instead of seeing that person in their real form, you see them in their digital form through the glasses.
And all their profile schematics, right, Boo? You get to see all their statistical information. You get this HUD display now. You're in Fortnite, right? You get the HUD display. You get to see what's going on with think was that Spielberg flick Ready Player One?
Yep.
Yeah. The person just turns into a series of zeros and ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah, maybe time for a couple more articles. We're also financial advisors on this live stream. And so Robinhood IPO'd last week, and immediately their stock dropped 8%.
I saw
Reddit's
that.
not a big fan of them.
Interesting. I don't know what the reasons why. I saw the headline when I was away, but I was expecting it probably to do a little bit better than that, given all the hype that Robinhood had.
Mm-hmm.
But early days, I'm sure.
Yeah, Coinbase is another one. Right, that came out. These guys came out a little while ago, like 2 months ago.
Yeah,
or maybe a month ago. They debuted it in the 300s, and they dropped. So I bought here, and this is where we're at now. So
if you flip that graph upside down, you're doing just fine.
Isn't it buy low, sell high?
Yeah. Maybe in a few years I'll be able to see green on this chart, but for now it's looking like this.
But it's interesting, but the thing that we're kind of looking at. I mean, this goes back to that, and I talk about a lot with customers too. The notion of application capital. You look at what we are doing right now. We're looking at through the lens of applications to how our world is changing. And I think it's a very telling thing that we start to see valuation in properties they don't have any physical assets. They're maintained by small numbers of employees, but yet their valuation is super high. I think that's really telling, and it was really, kind of long visioned, if you will, prophetic, if you will, about how we're starting to valuize or assign valuation to application delivery and the things that applications bring to the table. So that's kind of circle back around to that point, because everything that we've just done is all application centric.
Yeah, and isn't that going to be the goal of companies in the new digital era? If you're going to start up a company, how do you start up a company that has the smallest amount of overhead, the smallest amount of actual physical assets, the smallest number of people, but still generate the most amounts of revenue and the most amount of growth? Some of these companies that just have massive valuations, it's incredible that they're doing it all with relatively few people and almost no real assets.
Yeah. They're at 1,700 employees and market cap of $49 billion.
Yeah,
that's a great per capita there, Boo.
Yeah. Heads are worth a lot of money.
Amazing.
Yeah. But no, it's exciting stuff. I mean, it's exciting times. I think it's why, as we look at our own individual application portfolios as customers, as F5, as what we consume as consumers, right? All those become really important kind of things for us to kind of think about and consider how, how we need to get to how fast we need to get to market with our applications, how we need to be able to support them, how we need to be able to visualize them, and that goes to some of the things that we've been doing here for a while in some of our new roles. So
yeah,
really exciting stuff.
Yeah, nice way to wrap things up, Chas. We're with that, we're at the bottom of the hour. That went by really quickly as always, but great to see you as always, and thank you for joining us. And have a good week, everyone.
Take care, guys. Be safe.
Bye, folks.